and welcome to the Care Machine podcast. I'm Professor Helen Meese, and each month I'll be bringing you the essential stories shaping the future of healthcare technology and innovation. If you're passionate about MedTech, policy and real-world impact, then you've come to the right place. Firstly, I'm going to ask you to please be generous with your likes and subscribes so you can keep up to date with this and our Sustainable Healthcare podcast every second Thursday of the month. November has been a month of action, major investment, sustainability milestones, and global debate about the future of AI in healthcare. In this episode, we're focusing on the innovators, the change makers, and the policy shaping tomorrow's healthcare landscape. Here's what's coming up. The UK MedTech sector reacts to the autumn 2025 budget and calls for urgent reform. New reports spotlight barriers for startups and the push for a more supportive innovation ecosystem. Globally, WHO Europe warns that AI in health is at a critical crossroads, and Europe's leading AI MedTech startup claims top honours at MedTech Innovator 2025. So grab yourself a coffee, settle in, and let's explore November's healthcare technology landscape right here on the Care Machine. Now, I'm afraid I am going to have to start with the B word. UK's MedTech sector has delivered a mixed response to the autumn budget from the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves. Leaders from across the industry welcomed new funding for innovation and skills development, but warned that regulatory and NHS adoption barriers remain significant hurdles. According to MedTech Insights, company founders and investors praised the government's renewed commitment to supporting life sciences, but called for faster regulatory approvals and more agile procurement processes within the NHS. The Association of British Healthcare Industries, the ABHI, highlighted ongoing challenges in translating research into commercial products, urging policymakers to prioritise clear, stable frameworks that enable UK MedTech to compete globally. This year's budget announced a £500 million boost for health tech R&D and a new MedTech skills accelerator aiming to address critical workforce shortages. While these measures were broadly welcomed, several CEOs voiced concern that without parallel regulatory reform, much of the investment could be lost in translation. We see real ambition in the Chancellor's plans, said one diagnostic company founder. But if it still takes 2 years to get a product into the NHS, we risk losing ground to international competitors. That's certainly food for thought. Industry analysts noted that the budget's focus on regional innovation clusters, especially in the northeast of England and the Midlands, could help rebalance MedTech growth beyond London and the southeast. However, questions remain about the clarity and speed of procurement pathways, particularly for SMEs. The sector is now watching closely for follow-up action from the Department of Health and Social Care, with many calling for a dedicated MedTech office to drive joined-up strategy and implementation. The consensus then is that the budget is a step forward, but real change will depend on the delivery and collaboration across government, NHS and industry. If you're part of an SME or looking to get MedTech products and services into the NHS, what were your thoughts on the budget? Did it leave you cold? Or were there some bright sparks to get you excited about going into 2026? Please do let us know because we'd love to hear your thoughts. And speaking of SMEs, a new report from the Centre for Process Innovation, CPI, has brought renewed attention to the barriers facing UK MedTech startups. The study found that while the UK boasts world-class research and a vibrant startup scene, many companies struggle with regulatory complexity, limited access to capital, and slow NHS adoption. Industry leaders are calling for urgent reforms, including streamlined regulatory pathways, targeted funding, and dedicated support for early-stage companies to unlock innovation and ensure the UK remains a global leader in health technology. The Innovation News Network noted that several startup CEOs have joined forces to lobby for a new MedTech growth task force to drive these changes in 2026. The CPI's report highlights that over 60% of UK MedTech startups cite regulatory hurdles are the biggest challenges that they face, with many describing the current system as fragmented and unpredictable. Founders report difficulty navigating multiple agencies, inconsistent guidance, and lengthy approval times, which can stall innovation and deter investment. Funding remains another pinch point. While venture capital is rising, early-stage companies say grant access is patchy and often misaligned with real-world needs. The report recommends the creation of a single digital front door for MedTech regulation, a ring-fenced innovation fund for first-in-class devices, and a new framework for rapid NHS evaluation and adoption. Several startup leaders, including those in diagnostics and surgical robotics, have spoken out in support of these reforms, arguing that the UK risks falling behind the US and Europe if it fails to act. The sector is now looking to government for a clear roadmap, with the hopes that 2026 will bring the decisive changes needed to turn world-class science into world-class companies. Let's see what impact the CPI report has on government policy. While clearly funding and regulation are big topics here in the UK, what is the rest of the world talking about? Well, it looks like AI is the main topic of conversation, not just for industry, but for leading healthcare agencies as well. WHO Europe has issued a landmark warning that artificial intelligence in healthcare stands at a fork in the road. Their November 2025 report surveyed AI used in 50 countries, revealing that only 4 have a national health AI strategy, and fewer than 1 in 4 provide AI training for healthcare workers. WHO cautioned that without urgent legal and ethical safeguards, rapid AI deployment could outpace regulation, risking patient safety and public trust. The report paints a picture of rapid AI adoption, ranging from diagnostic tools to hospital resource management, but also highlights a stark gap in oversight and preparedness. WHO officials point to the risk of a regulatory vacuum where innovation outpaces the creation of clear rules, liability frameworks, and ethical guidance. The organisation calls for urgent action, including harmonised standards, transparent validation processes, and cross-border data governance to ensure patient safety and support responsible AI growth. As the European Commission debates whether to ease some AI rules to boost innovation, WHO's intervention is a timely reminder that the success of digital health requires robust oversight as well as ambition. The coming year will be pivotal to AI adoption in healthcare as policymakers, companies and clinicians grapple with the balance between progress and protection. But on a somewhat brighter note, Slovakian medtech company Powerful Medical has been named the winner of the MedTech Innovator 2025, the world's largest medtech startup competition. Their AI-powered cardiac diagnostics platform won praise for its clinical accuracy and potential to address unmet need in cardiovascular care. The company's solution uses deep learning algorithms to analyse ECGs and other cardiac data, enabling early detection of heart disease and more personalised patient management. The win at MedTech Innovator, chosen from over 1,000 applicants worldwide, brings Powerful Medical into the global spotlight and is expected to accelerate their international partnerships, clinical trials and regulatory approval. Industry analysts see this as a sign of Europe's growing leadership in AI-driven medtech innovation, with innovators and clinicians alike watching closely as Powerful Medical prepares for broader market entry in 2026. The story also highlights how Central and Eastern European companies are becoming significant players on the world stage. This is one to watch, I'm sure. So there you have it. This month's stories show a sector definitely facing a crossroads, with UK medtech pushing for bold reforms and fresh investment, while global debate about AI and digital health highlights the need for both ambition and caution. Whether it's startups calling for a more supportive ecosystem or international agencies warning of AI risks and rewards, one thing is clear: the pace of change is accelerating. As we look into 2026, collaboration, clarity, and responsible leadership will be more important than ever. Well, that was November, showing us that MedTech innovation is about more than technology. It's about investment, policy, and global collaboration. UK companies are calling for the reforms they need to enable them to grow and prosper, while Europe takes a hard look at the future of AI in health. As ever, I'd love to hear your thoughts on these issues, as well as any other suggestions you might have for topics you'd like us to cover. Subscribe to the channel for our monthly news brief and our in-depth sustainability in healthcare podcast, where I talk with leading healthcare and medtech experts. But for now, I'm Helen Meese. This has been the Care Machine podcast. Thanks for listening, and see you in December.